Rain, calling on my phone. Baby, yeah, leave me alone.
Before I actually get into the tutorial and show you guys how to do the transitions, I just want to say that over 60% of you guys that watch my videos are not subscribed to the channel yet, so make sure to help me out by dropping a sub. It is 100% free for you guys to do. We're grinding super hard to 50k subscribers, uploading daily. Make sure to follow my Twitter. That'll be the first link in the description if you want to stay up to date with me. And this is going to be a dual platform tutorial, so I'm going to be going over how to do the effect both in Davinci and After Effects. And as always, all the links, plugins, presets, as well as the timestamps will be in the description if you guys want to check that out. Skip ahead to your desired editing software. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Alright guys, so I am in a brand new Davinci Resolve project. Just come up here to your file, go to project settings, make sure all your settings are on 1920 by 1080 fps. Pretty much what I'm going to be showing you in this tutorial are three different types of transitions. I'm going to show you how to do the zoom in and out transitions. I'm going to show you how to do movement transitions, either left, right, up, or down. And then I'm also going to be covering rotation transitions. This is all going to be using Blurmo Curves, which is a Sapphire plugin, so make sure to have that installed before doing this. I'll have a link to that in the description for 100% free for you guys to check out. The first thing you want to do is just drag in your clip. I'm just going to drag it in like this. I'm going to size it down to just some random point right here because I don't really need that much since we're just going to be transitioning between the two. Next thing we want to do is just drag in our second clip, size it down to whatever length we want. The first thing you want to do is just grab an adjustment clip from your effects library right here. Once it's lined up between the two actual clips right here, just so it's covering this portion right here where the actual two clips separate, put your playback head on it and go into your Fusion tab. Once you're actually in the Fusion tab, you're going to want to find the point where the two clips actually transition, which will be this point right here. While being on this frame right here, we're going to press Control Space on our keyboard and look up Blurmo Curves. Press add and drag it in by pressing Shift on your keyboard and connecting it just like this. The first transition I'm going to show you guys is a zoom in transition. So since we're doing a zoom in, we're going to see that this is the actual separation point right here. The frame right before the separation point, we're going to keyframe our Z distance on 0.7. It'll zoom in our clip just like you can see, which is what we're going for since it is a zoom in transition. The second frame, the actual separation point right here, we're going to want to change our Z distance to the opposite of 0.7, which is going to be 1.4. Next, we're going to go 10 frames back from the first point right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just like this. Change our Z distance back to 1. And then on the other side, we're going to go 10 frames forward from this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and change this value to 1. All we want to do is actually graph edit it now. So to do this, we're going to bring up our spline by clicking on this little spline icon in the top right. We're going to select the Blurmo Curves just so we can see the graph for it, and we're going to press this magnify button right here with the two arrows. From there, you're going to press Control A and S on your keyboard to easy ease these. Bring this graph point in right here and bring this point straight down just like this. So just like that, we should have a graph that looks something like a curve like this. And we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. We're going to bring this point down just like this, and we're going to bring this point over just like this. Make sure these are on reflect. For our zoom out transition, if that's what you're looking for, it's the exact opposite. So for our Z distance, since this first point is at 0.7 and this one's at 1.4, we're going to make the first point 1.4 because it is a zoom out transition, and we're going to make this point 0.7. All you got to do from there is just edit your graph values. So just bring your spline down a bit. This one should be fine the way it is. You're just going to want to flip this point right here because it will actually reverse the actual spline node. All right, up next is actually going to be our positioning transitions, which will be some sort of left or right. So for this, what we're going to do, just look up Blurmo Curves again, select it, press add, drag it in just like this. We're going to find our transitioning point, which is going to be right here. And we're actually going to find a point on the frame before that we want our point to be. So something like a 0.5 should be good. Just keyframe your 0.5 as your Shift X, and you can do a bit of a Z distance zoom in. Up to you though. I'm going to do 0.9 just like this. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames back. Keyframe this at 0. Keyframe this at 1. Just so it does a nice little zoom out thing right here. And then on this side, we're going to do the exact opposite. This is going to be -5, and this one's going to be 1.1, just like this on the actual Z distance. So do something like that. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames to the right. Change this to the default values, which is going to be 1 on this, and this one's going to be 0, just like this. And from there, all we're going to do is just turn our wrap X and wrap Y on reflect, and we should see just like that. It looks like a pretty clean transition just like this. All we got to do is graph edit it like before. So the first thing we're going to do, we're just going to get rid of this actual Shift X just so we can do the Z distance first. Nothing too crazy, just do the exact same. Control A, press S, and then we're just going to actually select our points, and we're going to do the same exact graph that we did on the zoom in and zoom out before, just by doing something like this, which should be good. And then we're going to get rid of our Z distance and go to our Shift X graph, which is going to be a lot more sharper. Just press Control A and S just to easy ease them. And then bring this down just like this. Bring this one up just like this. And just like that, that should be good. And if we go back to our edit tab right here, we should be able to see that it is a nice slide left transition. I'll have all these presets linked in the description if you guys want to use that instead of actually making your own transitions. All right, guys. And lastly, for the actual rotation transitions, just look up blur curves again. We're going to find the transitioning point right here. And if we want to have, let's say, a rotate right transition, we're going to have just our rotation set to 90 on the actual transitioning point. And then the frame before that, we're going to have it on -90, just on the opposite. And then just like before, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames back. Change it to 0. Then we're also going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames forward. Change this one to 0. And then we're going to make sure our wrap X and wrap Y are set to reflect just because it's a rotation. And then same exact spline as before. We're just going to press Control A, S, bring our points in just like this. Just like that should be fine. Bring this point in right here. It's a really good skill to actually be able to make your own transitions, because if you are making a montage, it's good to actually make transitions based on the movement of the next clip, just so you have the cleanest flow possible. But with that being said, I'm going to hop into the After Effects portion. All the presets, if you guys want to use those, will be in the description for you guys to use. But I hope you guys enjoyed this part, and I'll see you guys in After Effects. All right, guys, so I am in a brand new After Effects project, 1920 by 1080 60 FPS as usual. What we're going to do for the After Effects portion, just get 2 random clips, completely up to you which ones you want to use. But for me, I'm just using 2 random ones because I actually am just showing how to transition between 2 clips. So just drag them into your timeline. You can shorten them down to the length that you want to use. I just have them side by side, just like this. All right, so actually once we're at the middle point right here, just press Control Alt Y on your keyboard to add an adjustment layer. Get rid of the excess on either side, just like this. All you're gonna want to do now is just look up blur curves, just like this. It's a Sapphire plugin. I'll have a link to that in the description if you guys want to check that out. But the first transition I'm going to be showing you guys is the zoom transition. If we want the standard zoom in, all we're going to want to do is go 1 frame back from the actual point right here. And we're going to keyframe our Z distance on 0.7. We can see that that brings our Z distance into the screen. This is exactly what we want because it is a zoom in transition. The frame at the transitioning point, we're going to change that to 1.4. And then from there, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames forward. Change it to 1. And then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames back. Change that to 1. Change these to reflect. It is a bit choppy right now, like you guys can't see, but don't worry, we're going to graph edit it. Click on your adjustment layer, press U on your keyboard, select these points right here, press F9 on your keyboard just to easy ease them. And then from there, we're going to select these keyframes, go to our graph editor, zoom in just a bit, and from there, copy the graph I'm about to show you. So just bring in a steep little drop just like this, put a steep little drop on this point just like this, bring this point in right here. And what this will do is it'll almost whip the transition in my terms of explaining it. It'll whip it in, so we'll go slow right here, and it whips it, and it goes slow out. And if you guys were to want to, let's say, have a zoom out transition instead, all you got to do is reverse these values. So just change the first one to 1.4, change this one to 0.7, edit your graph just like this. And then you're just going to fix your graph editor just by pulling these points down right here, because you did reverse the thing, so it did mess up the graph. And then from there, you literally have the exact same thing, but it's opposite. It's a zoom out transition. All right, guys, so the next transition I'm going to be showing you is the actual swipe directional transition. So for example, it would be a swipe up, swipe down. So all we're going to do for this is we're going to find the middle point right here. We're going to go 1 frame back, but I'm going to be changing my Shift X on this point to maybe something like 500 should be good. Yeah, so we'll keyframe it, or Shift X to 500 right here. And then we're going to go to the middle point right here. We're going to change it to the opposite, which is -500. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames forward from the actual middle point right here. Change our Shift X to 0. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames back. Change this to 0. It's just a bit linear right now because we actually haven't edited this. Select all your keyframes again after pressing U on your keyboard. F9 to actually easy ease them. And then we're going to zoom in like this. Select our points like this, copy the exact graph I'm about to show you guys, which is almost the same graph I just showed you guys for before. It almost whips the transition like this, but you can see what it does a nice little swipe right transition. But now I'm going to be showing you the final transition, which is the rotate transition. All right, guys, so for this one, all you're going to want to do on your middle point right here, the actual transitioning point, we're going to change our rotate value to 90. We're going to go 1 frame back, change this to -90. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 frames back from the actual point right before the transitioning point. Change it to 0. And then this one, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and change this one to 0, just like this. We can see that it is a nice little rotate left transition. All we got to do from there, press the U on our keyboard to bring up our keyframes, easy ease them. And then we're going to go into the actual graph editor right here and edit the graph to the exact same graph that we've been using for every single one of our transitions, and just bring the points in just like this. And just like that, you have your very own rotate transition. You can see just like that, it is super clean looking, super easy to make. Making your own transitions are definitely a super applicable skill in terms of video editing. It makes you a lot more versatile in terms of the actual flow of your edits, makes you a lot more efficient in terms of how you actually pull off the transitioning points between the actual clips. Having good transitions can definitely improve your montages, so I do recommend making your own. I will have the presets linked down below in the description if you guys want to use those, but I highly encourage trying to make your own, just so you can actually have that skill under your belt in terms of actually editing your Fortnite montages. But that's pretty much going to be it for the video. If you guys did find this helpful, be sure to drop a sub, smash that like button, give me a comment down below what you want to see in the channel in the future. But I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.